Is Shanks the strongest in the One Piece verse? Well, I think he is. Let's talk about it. Oh, and he's stronger than Roger. Don't fight me. Don't fight me. Let's talk about key points, guys. Number one, the clout. Shanks has the clout for days, dude. In the verse, he's the man who struck Marineford. He has virtual like every single character we've seen has respect for Shanks, other than Big Mom. But Big Mom's a bad character, guys. Sorry I said that. Shanks is legit the guy. I'm trying to think of a single situation. Let's pretend that bandit situation never happened. That was years and years and years ago, dude. You're in a western cowboy bar. You see Shanks pull up, and he's like drinking with his crew. Ain't no one gonna actually do what those bandits did, dude. Those bandits gonna get, cause Shanks' name is being plastered all over. Like this guy's a Yonko, bro. This guy runs this. This guy runs the seas, runs the oceans. You know, ain't no one gonna mess with him, dude. Let's talk about his legendary battles with Mihawk for a second. We know like these legendary battles existed. Everyone hypes him up in the series. I hope we get to see it one day, but I don't think we ever will get to see it. I think that's gonna be something that's gonna be that's like off screen already, you know. Just like I also hope we see like Aokiji versus Akainu, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I mean, these fights, what do they imply? That Shanks has competent swordsmanship, and competent is a very, very, very underkill. He is probably close enough to match Mihawk. Like we can assume that. And Mihawk is the world's strongest swordsman. We know how powerful Mihawk is. Although it was actually confirmed officially that Mihawk is stronger than Shanks with a sword. Guys, we talked about it. Shanks' Haki is his specialty. It isn't his sword. It isn't his fighting. This man runs Haki for days. We know Kaido hyped this up. Kaido says, "Ain't devil fruits that take you. It ain't this. It's Haki that takes you up to the next level." Which also adds like a interesting like juxtaposition with him and Blackbeard specifically, because Blackbeard's a guy who's like, we don't know anything about if Blackbeard has Haki, but he seems all so focused on all the devil fruits. You know, we actually got to see an interesting thing in the manga. If you're caught up, I won't talk about it too much. You know, this is a manga channel where I talk about manga stuff, but in this video I won't talk about it too much. Shanks being the Haki, Shanks' whole crew seems like they're all like experts in some fields of Haki, even though we know Shanks is a master of all three forms. You know. And we know Roger was, dude, but dude, I guarantee you, Oda, like when Oda thinks of Roger, he probably thinks of like this legendary figure. But when he thinks of Shanks, he thinks of like the GOAT. He thinks of like let's talk about LeBron. That's Michael Jordan right now playing. That's Michael Jordan playing in the league right now. We're back in like 1996. That's who Shanks is right now in the verse, you know? Like, okay, I'll just spoil the manga. You already know what happens, probably, if you're watching this, because this is like a manga content channel. But dude, Shanks is just chilling one day, and then he leaves Wano, scares the poop out of Ryo Goku, Green Bull Green Bull's vibing. He's like, I'm gonna just go. He's like, I'm disrespecting all the Straw Hats. He's disrespecting every single member of the Straw Hats. He's like, nah, you guys are nothing. You guys fluked out Kaido would stop me, but you guys are nothing. Then from across the oceans, Mihawk just observes Conqueror's Haki, and every single character can feel, and they're like, what the hell? Conqueror's Haki this powerful right here. And Green Bull, bro, man doesn't want anything, dude. He's out, he's shaking. Green Bull's having like a panic attack. Green Bull's like, guys, I can't. This is not making fun of panic attack, guys, by the way, but just an example. Green Bull is just like, I don't want to be part of this anymore. Green Bull's ready to hand in his resignation to the Marines. The Akainu simp is like, but I imagine since he's like the Akainu, like, not simp, the Akainu like fanboy, that he'd be angry. He'd be like, you're the one who stopped Akainu during the war, but whatever. We know Green Bull is like a weird character. Let's talk about it, dude. His Haki abilities, observation is probably absurd. We know he could hear things. He's like, oh, I sense some danger in Wano. I can sense this. We know how like crazy he is. Let's talk about the most important thing. The thing we found out in Film Red. Spoilers for Film Red. He legit can block Future Sight. Future Sight. Like Katakuri, he effortlessly blocks him, you know? And this whole epithet in the series that we just found out recently, because in One Piece you can just like, One Piece is a show that's so good, you can just like not say anything for like 20 years and just add it, and everyone's like so happy you added that one part, right? But Shanks is known as the one who blocks people's like future sight. We haven't seen any character do that. We haven't seen any person do that. Like the amount of like things that Shanks has done, we haven't seen any other character do, you know? Like we've seen Whitebeard fight. Like even though that was old Whitebeard, I imagine he would still use like some sort of like abilities that would put him on like the. He legit showed nothing of the sort that like Shanks showed. Like Shanks just feels on like a complete another level. Like I imagine like if Shanks like fights, I honestly think Shanks Shanks and Blackbeard is so interesting, man. Like the how strong Shanks' theory, like how strong Shanks is this whole video kind of depends on when they fight, because we all know they're setting up for the 10-on-10 fight with Shanks' crew versus the Blackbeard crew. I think that's gonna happen before Luffy eventually fights Blackbeard. But like that outcome pretty much determines it, because I've always felt like every character has been hyping up that like Haki runs the world, the strongest characters, and Shanks is the best. And I talked about this earlier, but Blackbeard is kind of like we don't know anything about Blackbeard's Haki, but I really think Shanks is just OP, man. This guy is just like this guy has the energy. He's the Gojo Satoru energy. He got the Kakashi energy. He got the who? Let's think of some character. But like, dude, you know what I always found so weird? Just it might be a little bit of a tangent, but let's compare him like Shanks to Roger and Luffy. Like he has so many similar like similarities and like beliefs and like other things in life, but they feel like such different people, you know? Like Shanks and Roger always seems like so random, you know? Like Shanks is random like that too, but he's like calculated. That's like the one thing where the Shanks evil theory makes like some sort of sense is how like Shanks always feels like he feels like the character who's like drunken fist, you know, where he's like it's part of his strategy, you know, it's like mental war games, but it's weird, man. Like Shanks feels like definitely calculates every action. He thinks about what he does. He's like, if I do this, it'll cause this and this and this. Like he's a character of balance. I think that's a thing that the community has generally decided. Because we know, like, before Marineford, he stopped Kaido. And you'd wondered if he was completely against the world government. Because I would assume Kaido wouldn't fight Whitebeard. And he would just fight the world government with... Like, I assume it would be way more chaos, but Shanks doesn't want that. Like, Shanks is waiting, and we all know about the whole fruit. Luffy's true fruit, and... Like, I'm curious why. Like, the whole question is, why did Shanks, like, not tell Luffy? Did he know? Why did he steal it? Was this all part of Shanks' like observation? Does Shanks have like insane future sight where like what does Shanks have? Like could he hear like the because we know it was a Zoan fruit. Is Shanks like that insane where he could like hear the Zoan fruit telling him like okay like he's just like in like a ship. You know how we heard like Roger and Odin hear like the sea beast below? Like maybe that's what like happened with Shanks, you know? Legit everything we've seen in this series just proves like Shanks is that guy, bro. Shanks is top one.